Many years ago, in the days of Judges, there was a man from the hill country of Ephraim whose name was Elkanah. He had 2 wives, Hannah and the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none. Year after year, this man went up from his town to worship and sacrifice to the Lord Almighty at Shiloh, where Hophni and Phinehas, the 2 sons of Eli, were priests of the Lord. When the day came for Elkanah to sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he gave a double portion, because he loved her, and the Lord had closed her womb. Because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her to irritate her. This went on for year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat.
Hannah, why are you weeping? Why don't you eat? Why are you downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons?
Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head.
How long are you going to stay drunk? Put away your wine.
No, my lord, I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying here out of my great anguish and grief.
Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him.
May your servant find favor in your eyes.
The next morning they arose and worshipped before the Lord, and then went back to their home at Ramah. So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." Hannah took the boy with her and brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh. They brought the boy to Eli.
Pardon me, my lord, as surely as you live, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord.
The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Everyone's here. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Mommy!
Thank you, Mommy, for this beautiful robe. May the Lord give you children by this woman to take the place of the one she prayed for and gave to the Lord.
Meanwhile, the boy Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. In those days, the word of the Lord was rare. There were not many visions.
Samuel! Here I am. Did you call me? I did not call. Go back and lie down.
Samuel!
Here I am. Did you call me? My son, I did not call. Go back and lie down.
Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. The 3rd time the Lord called, "Samuel!" And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said,
Here I am. Did you call me?
Then Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy.
And the ponnu Samuel, nee poi kedika, go and lie down. And if he calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Ida ara enne kidana vilukunada onnu oranganum samadikinala.
Samuel! Samuel! I told Eli that I would judge his family forever because of the sin he knew about. His sons cursed God, and he failed to restrain them. Therefore I swore to the house of Eli, the guilt of Eli's house will never be atoned for by sacrifice or offering.
The Lord was with Samuel as he grew up, and he let none of Samuel's words fall to the ground. Years passed. Samuel was the spiritual leader of Israel, and now he was old. But his sons didn't follow his father's path. They were greedy and took bribe money and lived for themselves. Everyone in Israel knew this. They demanded to have a king to rule and take care of them.
We want a king! Give us a king!
We want a king! We want a king! We want a king! We want a king! We want a king!
Listen to all the people are saying to you. It is not that they have rejected you, but they have rejected me as their king. Now listen to them, but warn them, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his right.
He will take your sons and make them work hard and take a portion of everything you have. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, but the Lord will not answer you in that day.
No! We want a king over us! Then we will be like all the other nations, with a king to lead us and go out before us and fight our battles. Listen to them and give them a king.
There was a Benjamite whose name was Kish, who had a son named Saul, a handsome young man, as could be found anywhere in Israel, and he was a head taller than anyone else. One day, Saul was looking for his father's lost donkey. That's when they met Samuel.
Anoint him ruler over my people Israel. He will deliver them from the hand of the Philistines. I have looked on my people, for their cry has reached me.
Samuel caught sight of Saul.
This is the man I spoke to you about. He will govern my people.
Then Samuel took a flask of oil and poured it on Saul's head and kissed him. As Saul turned to leave Samuel, God changed Saul's heart. Samuel said to all the people,
Do you see the man the Lord has chosen? There is no one like him among all the people.
Long live the king!
Long live the king!
Saul led Israel in many big battles. He had seen God do amazing things to help them overcome their enemies. Saul had chosen to disobey God time after time. Through Samuel, God told Saul that he would not be king much longer. Because of Saul's disobedience, Samuel didn't see Saul again, but he did grieve for Saul.
How much longer are you going to mourn over Saul? I have rejected him. So fill your flask with oil. Go see Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king.
Samuel was watching carefully as Jesse arrived with his 7 sons. All 7 sons passed in front of Samuel. One by one, God told Samuel, not that one. Out of 7 sons, there was not one the Lord had chosen.
The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
What is going on? Jesse, do you have any other children?
Yes, one that takes care of the sheep. He is a shepherd boy.
Bring him here right away. We can't start the celebration without him.
When David arrived at home, he was much younger than all the other sons.
He poured the oil on the head of David. The anointing was the way God showed that David was his choice. Set crown on David's head.
The word spread. David, son of Jesse of Bethlehem, had been anointed by Samuel to be the next king. The news was whispered because no one wanted to upset Saul. One day, the Philistines were camped near Israel's border, ready for a fight. David's brothers were in Saul's army. Jesse sent David to check on his older brother in the camp and send supplies for them. The Israelite army and the Philistines were facing each other, giving battle cries. The only exception was Goliath. For the past 40 days, this huge man came out every morning and every evening to shout,
"Why do you come out and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine? Are you not the servants of Saul? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he can fight me and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us. This is the day I defied the army of Israel. Give us a man and let us fight each other."
Do you see how this man keeps coming out? He comes out to defy Israel. The king will give great wealth to the man who kills him. He will also give his daughter in marriage and will accept his family from taxes in Israel.
What will be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?
എനിക്ക് പാടിപ്പാടുന്നു അവൻ നമ്മെ കൊല്ലുവാൻ പോകുന്നു.
നിന്നോട് ആരാ പറഞ്ഞു ഇപ്പോൾ എങ്ങോട്ട് വരാൻ? ഒരു നിമിഷം പോലും നിൽക്കാതെ ഓടി വീട്ടിൽ പോകണം.
What David said was overheard and reported to Saul, and Saul sent for him.
Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him.
You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth.
The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine.
Go, and may the Lord be with you.
Goliath kept coming closer and closer to David. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." Ha 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 ha.
You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down. The whole world will know that there is a God in Israel.
As Goliath moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck Goliath on his forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. David triumphed over Goliath with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down Goliath and killed him. Many years passed. Saul continued to dislike David. For many years, Saul chased David and tried to kill him. Saul even disliked his own son, Jonathan, because he was David's best friend. The war between the house of Saul and the house of David lasted a long time. David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. When all the elders of Israel had come to David at Hebron, the king made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel.
In conclusion, a mother's prayer for a son was so powerful that God heard Hannah's prayer and granted what she prayed for. A shepherd boy who was down to the earth. For his family, he was nobody. But David was consistent and ready to face any situation. David always put God first. At the end, God blessed David and he became king.